It is Full Face Friday, and I started a video. Again, the theme of today is videos that you start that some crazy thing happens and you got to stop and start all over again. So anyway, I started this video. I applied the Never Touch Up face primer to my skin already. Sorry. Oh, there we go. This is the Ruby Kisses line, RK by Kiss, that I have found in my Walmart store. I'm now going to apply this CC concealer. I've done a video on this already. I like this concealer, but what just happened was there's a brush tip on here, and I was trying to get some of the product to come up through the brush. Apparently there was some kind of clog, and I squeezed it and the thing like exploded. There was concealer on my ceiling, concealer everywhere. So I still have that, but I'm going to pretend that's not happening. Because we don't fix our problems, we just pretend they're not happening. So I'm going to get some of this concealer out onto my fingertips. So word to the wise, be really careful with this product, because it that brush tip can clog, apparently. All right, now there was a BB cream that this brand, the Ruby Kisses brand, had online. They weren't selling it or stocking it in my Walmart store, but I wasn't going to order it, and I didn't order it. So I'm just using this as kind of a pre-foundation, because I'm going to go ahead and use their powder foundation. Where'd that thing go? I just dropped it on the floor. Dropped my concealer on the floor. I want to put a little bit more on. Alright, there we go. A little bit more on my fingers. Okay, so that's going to have to be good enough for foundation. I do like this concealer, and I'm going to do a follow-up video to this. I did a before video on the last Full Face Friday, so I'm going to try it afterwards and see if we like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Matte Finish Powder Foundation, the Never Touch Up Matte Finish Powder Foundation. I have a full review on this as well, or first impression on this, and so if you want to take a look at that, it is in probably in a playlist of some kind. So, and I have the lightest shade, which is Ivory. The concealer was Porcelain. I'm going to go ahead and use the sponge that comes with this, just see if I can get a little bit better, or more foundation-like application, and then I may just kind of dust it off with my brush in a minute. So of course, if you only have a powder foundation, you're going to end up, or maybe not only, but if you have a powder foundation, you're probably going to look really powdery. But I do have a setting spray, so that may help that. So obviously, the more you apply, the better coverage you're going to get. I'm going to go ahead and take my powder brush now and kind of buff over that, just so we can kind of get any loose powder that's not wanting to adhere to that concealer or the primer to come away. Alright, I always do eyes next, and I have this beautiful eyeshadow palette that they sell. It is the Dear Diary series Break of Dawn, and it's all cool tones. There are some neutral type cool tones. It makes me laugh when people say neutrals, because how can you be neutral if you're cool? Anyway, but I think you know what I mean. They have a lot of different shades in here. It looks like you can create just about any look you're trying to. Most of them are matte or satin. A couple of them look a little bit glittery / sparkly, but none of them is like a metallic or anything like that. So let me grab a brush. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to do a simple eye today, so I think I'm just going to go with these 3 like right on the bottom and see what we can do with that. And I'm going to also take this one, I think, and well, I'll take this one right here and I'm going to put that in my crease. It's a very, okay, these are kicking up a little bit of dust. Well, make that a lot of dust. This is like a very, what am I trying to say, typical crease color. It's not, it almost has like a pinky tint to it, a little bit pinky. They had other shadow palettes. Yeah, this is really dusty. It's like kicking up a lot of dust. I'm going to take this light pinky shade now and I'm going to put that on my lid. Oh, look at the, I don't know if you can see, but like there is a ton of kick up. Oh no, you can't really see. Oh, a little bit right there, like all that right there that you see. And watch, I don't know if you'll be able to see. See that? It's just kicking up a lot of product. So I'm going to put that on my lid. So right off the bat, I don't know if you can see, but there is like a ton of, like, all that right there is like product that's just being lifted up. So that's not cool. I'm going to take the darkest shade and kind of pop that in my crease as well. Alright, that one's not as dusty. Just to deepen that up a tiny bit, and I'll bring that right down here as well. A little bit. Yeah, that one is the least dusty so far. These, they feel really soft. Well, let me give you a little bit of a swatch. They are a little bit, I would say kind of lightly pigmented, but the deeper shades are deep. They are a little tiny bit chalky looking though. Oh, that one's really deep. Let me get one of these sparkly ones. Okay, so they're not like crazy high pigmented, some of them, but this is not the worst eyeshadow palette that I've ever seen. Again, this looks like one of those ones that if you're new to makeup, you could get away with. I mean, in the viewfinder, it looks like I didn't do anything to my eyes at all. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a darker shade, that one right there, I think, and just put that in my crease as well, just to see if we can get some of this to show up. Just softly, there we go. Now we got a little bit of something going on. These are very lightly pigmented. These, I would say this would be great for like, if you're very brand new to makeup and you just wanna try something that has a little bit of color but not too much, and that way you can't really make too much of a mistake. Or also if you're have a young daughter that you want to start off with some colors that are pretty. It's a cool tone palette. None of the colors are crazy. They're all really pretty, and it might give her a chance to be able to try some colors that aren't just brown and without everything getting crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and take, oh, I lost my tissue. I keep losing that thing. I am gonna go ahead and take maybe this shade right here and kind of smudge that along my lash line. Let me grab a mirror real quick. Okay, so look, that one had some color. I'm going to blend that out in just a second. I feel like they're showing up a little bit better in real life. It's not that there's no pigment, there is some. These are just very lightly pigmented eyeshadows. So if that's what you're looking for, these would be perfect. And I'll talk a little bit more about them in my follow-up video. They're a little bit kind of blending into each other and not having a distinct... It's raining, by the way. I'm sure you can hear the rain. There's not like a distinct color difference, but to me that's almost a good thing. And a lot of people say, well, they're too muddy, you know, they don't like that. And if you don't like that, then fine. But to me, it's like I want them all to blend well together. You know what I'm saying? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do lashes now. And this is very interesting. This is the Heat Volume and Define Mascara. And this is actually a tubing mascara. I don't know if you haven't heard of what a tubing mascara is. It actually makes like a tube of mascara around the lashes, and it's very easily removed with just warm water. So it makes it virtually waterproof. So I've only seen tubing mascaras in kind of high-end mascaras, so I was shocked to find that this is a tubing mascara for such a cheap price. And I'll talk about price in the next video about this. Okay, so something that's making me happy about this right off the bat is that there's not a ton of product on the brush. That's really good. It's full of spiky bristles, but they're kind of widely spaced. Not crazy widely spaced, but I'm kind of afraid this is going to make my lashes stick all together, so we'll just see. Okay, and you see like what we're getting right there? It's just because the bristles are kind of like a rake and not like a brush, it's sort of sticking them all together and making them look a little weird. So I'm not, as a first impression just right off the bat, I'm not such a fan of that. So I'm going to see if I have a spoolie that I can brush through that with, which I doubt I have. There is a spoolie on the end of this. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to go ahead and wipe a lot of the product off of this brush and see if I can just use that to kind of comb through the lashes before it dries and it becomes a permanent spiked out, not good looking lash. Okay, so I'm not a fan of this mascara as of right now. There we go. That's what we want. Much better. Alright, so because I wiped off almost all the product on this brush and then did the lower lash line, my lower lashes are looking fine. And I have no problem with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and re-dip, load my brush up, and then I'm going to remove most of the product from the brush. Now, I know people are going to be like, well, isn't that a waste of product, and why would you want to do that? I don't necessarily want to do that, but I find that happens a lot with a lot of mascaras, that you just have to remove a lot of the excess product, and then they're good. Okay, this is like a very spiky type mascara, so I don't know, like, it just seems like it's an awful lot of work just to see if I can make this mascara be okay. So, not a fan of that, and mostly because of the brush shape and style. It's just, I mean, obviously I have mascara on now, and it looks a little bit better because my eyelashes are defined or darkened. But I don't know. As a first impression, not a fan. Okay, next thing is the, I always go, well, you know what, let me finish up eyes. I usually do eyebrows last, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Alright, so I have the Go Brow eyebrow pencil in dark brown. This is kind of cute because it has a little sharpener that attaches to it. The shade looks good. Oh, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a good one. Oh, maybe not. I'm not getting any pigment at all. Okay, I'm like full on coloring on my hand. It's showing up a lot better in the viewfinder, but like you can barely see that, and it is a little bit warm. I'm gonna just go ahead and see what it's gonna do on my brows. The good news about that though is like the harder the pencil and the less pigment that comes off, the less likely you are to give yourself, you know, psycho brows. And I'm not a big fan of like crazy brows. I like a more natural-ish brow. This also has a cute spoolie on the other end, so the... Oh, it's kind of hard though. That kind of hurts. So I like the idea of this, but they could use a little bit softer spoolie, and I'd be okay if that pencil was just a tiny bit softer. Just a tiny bit. I love the idea of having a sharpener on it already though. Okay, so next thing is this Luscious Glow Cheek Palette. This is highlight, blush, and contour. It's got everything you need. 2 blushes, contour, and highlight. Now I don't normally use a contour at all ever, but I'm going to do it today just for the sake of this video. This is going to be way too orange and certainly too dark on my skin, but I'm just going to tap it very lightly and see if we can get like a natural-ish contour. Alright, let's see. I'm kind of scared. Alright, so if you're really careful, not bad. Honestly, I'm surprised. I never contoured, y'all, so I'm gonna pull a little bit of this right here because I kind of want to. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little bit of a swatch of that. I don't know, it's not bad. Like, it's too warm for me and too, well, just too warm, really. But it's not like overly pigmented, honestly. Like, it looks pretty pigmented on the viewfinder there, but it's actually really light, as far as like, it's a light amount of pigment. And it just feels like it's blending really nice and just applying a soft amount of pigment rather than like just a too soft, a too physically soft of a powder, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go in with, I have a liquid lipstick and I think it's going to look best with this blush, so I'm going to use the Mauvier blush. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of these powder products for the simple fact that you load up your brush and then look. Oh, you can't, sorry, you can't see it. Let me try it over here. There's a ton of dust just everywhere. And they're really softly pigmented, and I'm okay with that, honestly. I'd rather build up a little bit than, you know, have too much all at once. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try this highlight. I'll give you a swatch of the others. There's just like, I don't know if you can see, but like there is a ton of like the pigment you can, or the dusty powder, you can just see it all over and it's just dusting off everywhere. See it all over the brush. That looks like a very natural highlight. I'm gonna get a mirror in just a second. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Pretty natural, though. It's nothing like crazy. I mean, you can kind of see it. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that onto. Put that in my. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. Like that. It's just like a lot of dusty powder sitting on top of the brush, and like it's just dusting out everywhere. But again, everything is very softly pigmented. You can see it better in my video, right, or in the camera right now. I cannot talk today. Everything is very softly pigmented, so not overly pigmented, so it makes it easy for you to not make a bunch of mistakes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a YouTuber and highlight a little bit. I don't know, I kind of like that highlight. So let me grab you a swatch of the blushes. This is the mauve tone. Sorry. And the peachy tone's a little bit pretty light. I can't remember if they had, I want to say they may have had a darker palette. So there goes your, I mean, you know, it's just, they're just soft. They're just really soft shades. And I gotta say, I don't hate them. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they're so dusty and powdery and kicking up all this powder everywhere. Okay, so what's next? All right. So the thing that I was most excited about to try today is the Forever Matte liquid lipstick. I love liquid lipsticks. I've talked about this before. This is in the shade Tippy Toe. And let's just see what we've got. This is one of those, oh, it smells sweet, like strawberry. Anything that's strawberry scented, that's what this smells like. It's one of those doe foods that has that little scoop type in the middle. So let's see. Oh, that's a little bit darker than I was expecting. Pretty color though. Okay, this is reminding me, the color, oh, well, in the viewfinder, not so much. I was going to say the color is reminding me almost exactly of the Wet n Wild. This is way darker than what I was expecting. Okay, so the color is reminding me almost exactly, no, it's darker. It's dark, I was going to say of the Wet n Wild Catsuit in Rebel Rose, but it's darker than that. I would say it's in the same color family, but it is darker. Very obviously, it's pretty dark. Okay. I don't know if I'm loving it with this look. Anyway, okay, so the formula though feels good. Like that's not gonna budge. I mean, I'm getting a little tiny bit on my finger, but this is feeling like almost just like the liquid cat suits from Wet n Wild. So I'm gonna go out on a limb today and say this one is a good one. I feel like I probably would have to be really careful though, and maybe use a lip liner or something to correct all these edges, because it doesn't look like I'm staining the lines very well. Okay, so that's it. Oh, I got one more thing actually. I almost forgot. I have the Never Touch Up matte finish setting spray. It says prevents makeup meltdown, temperature control / oil free. So let's just see. All right. Oh, it looks like it's got a nice fine mister. It smells good. It smells like a perfume that I used to have. The mister is excellent. Perfect amount of mist on your skin, and let me take a close-up look and see if it toned down some of that powderiness from this powder foundation. Okay, let me give you guys a little bit of a close-up look. You can see my pores a little bit right here, but I feel like I got some pretty good coverage out of that powder foundation and concealer. Like, I feel like I got a pretty good look. It's looking a little tiny bit heavy on my skin though. Just a tiny bit. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Give me any helpful tips that you can think of in the comments below, please. I'm sorry this video is so long. All these full faces are always long. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here just so that I can start talking about the products in my next video. And then you guys will have that too, and it won't be just such a long video. Alright, thank you guys so much. And I will see you in the next one.